The international basketball world has caused us to repeat some powerful history. Or does this US men's basketball team stand in a league of its own? In the moments when America has stumbled in international basketball play, stars across the country have laced up their sneakers to help with the next change. And with the recent lackluster finish in the FIBA World Cup, yeah, we knew we were going to need to bring in the big guns. And when we say the big guns, we mean the entire NBA arsenal. Leading the team is a duo we've talked about possibly teaming up for years now. LeBron and the first-time Olympian, Steph Curry, who are basically donning their Captain America and Iron Man alter egos. They're definitely being the Avengers this time. Alongside them is the current leader in all of US men's Olympic scoring history, Kevin Durant. I don't know if you know this, but Kevin Durant is probably the most adaptable superstar out there. It doesn't matter if it's college, it doesn't matter if it's in the NBA or an entire different country. The Slim Reaper knows how to put the ball in the hoop. Back in the 2016 Olympics, KD shot 58% from the three. 58%. Yes, it's a bit of a shorter arc, but there are still some defenders. Yes, KD still thinks his height, but let's just say that we can't take away his shooting ability. Other notable names on the team are Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, and the hottest name in the country right now, Anthony Edwards. And is coming into the Olympics having been one of the few surviving names of the recent FIBA tournament. He and Halliburton are young all-stars, looking to learn a lot from being surrounded by so many veterans. But back in 1992, there was so much high-level talent for the Olympics that only David Robinson made it from the last team. I'm sure you don't need much of an introduction to the Dream Team, but let me just describe it as the best team most of us have ever seen in our lives. But did you know who averaged the most points? Definitely. They were past their primes and were more of glue guys or people who keeps everyone together there. David Robinson was the lone repeat guy, but he only averaged 9 points. Well, guess what? Michael Jordan was still not the leading scorer for the team. It was actually Charles Barkley during the tournament. The round mound of rebound averaged 18 points to MJ's 15. I'm sure you can only imagine the trash talk that comes from Chuck. And boy, that guy talks a lot. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of trash talking coming from the guys in the 2024 team as well. How do you think the conversation goes there? That there are 3 of the 5 starters of the current NBA championship team. Maybe Bam Adebayo still holds 2023 over their heads? Could be. Now, what would be the other similarities between these two fantastic teams? Or maybe even differences? One key difference I can tell you is that I think we should knock right off the bat is the international level of play from the 1992 to 2024. 92 was the first year NBA pros could play in the Olympics, and they obliterated anyone who stood in their way. No one stood a chance. No one. But since then, we've seen global players in the entire NBA dominate the US All-Stars. Who was the last American MVP? Any clue? Was it LeBron? Was it Curry? No. It was actually James Harden.
And the Kia NBA Most Valuable Player goes to James Harden, the Houston Rockets.
Way back in 2017 and 2018 season. And then before him, you couldn't find a foreign MVP till you go back all the way to 2006 with the great Dirk Nowitzki. The entire league has completely flipped. Did you see how close South Sudan was? They've only been a country for 13 years. They don't have any indoor courts. Yet, they only lost to LeBron and Steph by a single point. MJ and his teammates would sign autographs after beating their opponents by 100 points. In fact, their opponents were even taking photos of them as they performed the obliteration to their team. The two big similarities though are as follows. Number one, both teams have a massive snub everyone's talking about. The Dream Team in 92 had Isaiah Thomas, and the 2024 has Jaylen Brown, which as a side note, I think the Brown one is even crazier. The dude won finals MVP, but they pick all his teammates instead. That's tough. In fact, probably even personal.
I wasn't surprised, but my reaction was fun. I was happy for D-Wade. It's dope to have so much of like our guys on there, so I was happy for those guys, but I wasn't surprised.
Number two is the cultural impact they both have playing at the Olympics. The Dream Team drew fans across the globe to the game of basketball. The 2024 team is now feeling that impact all these years later. So as the world watches things like LeBron throwing an alley-oop to Embiid or Booker having a mid-range isolation game, there's going to be a lot of kids watching, ready to do the same thing when they're older. Alright, enough of all that sentimental stuff though. What if we lived in a fantasy world and could put both teams starting 5 against each other? What would that look like? The dream team had a lot of different starters throughout. The 5 with the most notable are Jordan, Barkley,
Johnson and Elijah Wan,
Magic, Patrick Ewing,
buzzer beater. Fires on the hop, picked up by Lillard.
and Karl Malone. That's a big boy roster right there. Having Jordan to be the shortest at 6'6". The 2024 team is still figuring out their starting 5 at the moment, but it looks like it's going to be Steph, LeBron, Durant, Drew Holiday, and Anthony Davis. Playing in a position matchup here, Magic and Steph would be super interesting. Probably the most interesting. Could Curry be fast enough to get around the lengthy point guard of Magic, or would Magic skyhook Curry into oblivion? Drew Holiday is the perfect guy to go against MJ. Many have tried, but we all know he won't be able to stop the GOAT. But he can at least make him work a little. LeBron and Durant versus Barkley and Malone would be a peak of different eras of basketball clashing. Personally, I want to go with LeBron and Durant for this one. And the big man matchup between Davis and Ewing would feel similar as well. For a guy like AD, who has never actually wanted to play center, Patrick Ewing's gigantic frame in the post is like his personal nightmare. Good luck to AD. Overall, I think it's way closer than some old heads might want to admit. Everyone for 2024 can operate anywhere on the court. You have big men shooting threes in 2024 team, which would be a big problem for 92. But again, 92 has MJ. If that dude gets annoyed, he's going to go for 50. Worst case, 60. What I know for sure is that it quite possibly be the best game of basketball ever held. Guys at that level are able to take a break from being rivals and compete for a common goal. Friendships end up being made, and it even sometimes leads to changes in the NBA. We've seen guys make pacts in the Olympics and then pull off team-ups down the line in the league. The Heat and Miami would probably want to take Durant and Kyrie. What would happen if we see such a team? The US basketball team stands alone in regards to recent years, but it lines up with a lot of the dream team narrative. The older NBA icons passing the torch to the young hotshots of the team. Even if sometimes LeBron's gotta turn back the clock against South Sudan, we know that it's gonna be very tough, maybe even impossible to stop such a team. Now, thank you guys for watching. If you like the topic, I'd always appreciate a like and a subscribe. Otherwise, at least jump in the comments and help debate these two starting 5s going at each other. Who do you think would win? I want to know from your side. Personally, you can't doubt the GOAT, but it depends. Who is your GOAT? Till next time.